How much of your mental energy is spent replaying past mistakes, rehashing old arguments, or wishing you could change things that already happened? We carry our past with us everywhere we go, the guilt, the anger, the regret, the what-ifs, and if-onlys. But what if I told you that clinging to your past is like carrying heavy luggage that you don't need for your journey? This story will show you how to finally set down that burden and walk freely into your future. In Phoenix, Arizona, lived a 31-year-old sales manager named David. From the outside, his life looked successful. Good job at a tech company, nice condo, reliable car. But inside, David was weighed down by regret and disappointment that had been building for years. 5 years ago, David had been offered a promotion to move to the San Francisco office. Better pay, more opportunities, career advancement. But David turned it down because his girlfriend Michelle didn't want to move. She had family in Phoenix and was afraid of starting over. "We can make it work here," Michelle had said. "Why take the risk?" David chose love over opportunity. 6 months later, Michelle broke up with him anyway, saying she had met someone else. The colleague who took the San Francisco position got promoted twice and now earned double David's salary. David also regretted his college business. He had started selling custom phone cases online. It was growing rapidly, and his business professor encouraged him to pursue it full-time after graduation. But his parents convinced him to take a safe corporate job instead. "Businesses fail," his father had said. "You need steady income and benefits." David sold his business for a small amount. 3 years later, the buyer had expanded it nationwide and was worth millions. These regrets consumed David's thoughts daily. At work, instead of focusing on current opportunities, he would daydream about what his life could have been if he had made different choices. In relationships, he was hesitant to commit because he was afraid of making another wrong decision. His best friend James noticed David's constant state of regret. "Man, you need to stop living in the past," James would say. "You can't change what happened, but you're letting it ruin your present." But David couldn't let go. Every success story he heard reminded him of his missed opportunities. Every setback felt like proof that he was destined to make bad decisions. One day, David's company sent him to a leadership conference in Las Vegas. On the flight, he sat next to an elderly man named Robert, who was probably in his 70s. Robert was traveling light, just a small backpack, while David had brought a large suitcase, carry-on bag, and laptop case, struggling to manage it all. "That's quite a bit of luggage for a short business trip," Robert observed with a friendly smile. David felt embarrassed. "Yeah, I always overpack. I worry I'll need something." During the flight, they began talking. Robert was a retired business consultant visiting his grandson. Despite his age, he seemed remarkably energetic and optimistic. "You seem troubled," Robert said. "Is everything all right?" Something about Robert's manner made David open up. He told this stranger about his career regrets, missed opportunities, and fear of making wrong decisions. Robert listened patiently. When David finished, Robert said, "Let me tell you a story that might help you understand something important." David settled in to listen. "Many years ago, I took a train trip across the country. At each station, I would buy souvenirs, postcards, books, local crafts, anything that caught my eye. I told myself I was collecting memories from my journey." Robert paused to take a sip of water. "By the third day, my suitcase was so heavy I could barely carry it. Every time I had to change trains or find my seat, I was exhausted from dragging this enormous bag. Other passengers were enjoying the scenery, making friends, and having conversations. But I was always focused on my luggage, worrying about it, protecting it, struggling with it." David could relate to this feeling. Finally, an old porter at a train station in Colorado looked at me struggling and said, "Son, you're carrying too much." This is supposed to be a journey, not a punishment. He helped me go through my bag, and I realized that most of what I was carrying I didn't actually need. Some items were broken, some were duplicates, and some were just taking up space. Robert looked directly at David. I threw away or donated more than half of what was in that suitcase. Suddenly, my journey became enjoyable again. I could focus on where I was going instead of being weighed down by everything I had collected along the way. David felt like Robert was speaking directly to his situation. David, your past is like that overpacked suitcase. You're carrying every mistake, every regret, every what if from your history. But most of that baggage isn't serving you anymore. It's just making your journey through life unnecessarily difficult. Robert continued, the job you didn't take, the business you sold, the relationship that ended, these are like those train station souvenirs. They were part of your journey, but they don't need to weigh you down for the rest of the trip. But what if those were my only chances for success? David asked. Robert smiled. That's like saying the first train station was your only chance to buy a souvenir. Life offers new opportunities at every stop, but you can't see them if you're too busy struggling with old baggage. For the rest of the flight, Robert shared his own story. He had made plenty of mistakes in his life, failed businesses, ended relationships, missed opportunities. But at some point, he had learned to carry only what served his future, not everything from his past. The key, Robert explained, is to keep the lessons but leave the regret. Keep the wisdom but leave the weight. Your experiences have taught you valuable things about yourself and life. That knowledge is useful luggage. The guilt, anger, and self-punishment, that's just dead weight. When they landed in Las Vegas, David watched Robert effortlessly carry his small backpack through the airport, while David struggled with his multiple bags. The metaphor was clear. That night in his hotel room, David did something he had never done before. He wrote down all his major regrets on paper. Then he wrote what each experience had taught him. The failed relationship taught him to make decisions based on his own values, not just to please others. The business he sold taught him to trust his instincts and take calculated risks. Once he extracted the lessons, David symbolically tore up the regret list. He decided to carry forward only the wisdom, not the weight. When David returned to Phoenix, his perspective had completely changed. Instead of dwelling on past missed opportunities, he started looking for current ones. He began networking again, updated his resume, and started exploring new possibilities. 6 months later, David received an offer for a senior position at a startup in Austin. This time, he didn't let fear or regret guide his decision. He evaluated the opportunity based on its merits and his current goals, not on past mistakes. David took the job and thrived in Austin. 2 years later, he was promoted to VP of Sales and met Sarah, a marketing director who shared his ambitions and values. When people asked him about his success, David would often tell them about the luggage story. I spent years carrying baggage that was slowing me down, he would say. The moment I learned to travel light, my journey became so much better. The truth is, we all carry unnecessary baggage from our past. Old hurts, past failures, regrets about roads not taken. But your past is not your prison unless you choose to make it one. Every day, you have the choice to carry forward only what serves you and leave behind what weighs you down. Your mistakes don't define you. They educate you. Your failures don't limit you. They inform you. Your regrets don't have to ruin your future. They can guide you to make better choices moving forward. Think about your own life. What baggage are you carrying that you don't need anymore? What regrets are weighing you down and preventing you from moving forward freely? What would your life look like if you kept the lessons but left the guilt? You can't change your past, but you can choose how much of it to carry into your future. Pack light, travel far, and remember, The best part of your journey is still ahead of you. If this story inspired you to let go of some old baggage, give it a like and share what you're ready to leave behind in the comments. Remember, you're not defined by where you've been, but by where you're going.